One Central Park is a 5.8 hectare site located in Chippendale near Central Station and the Broadway Precinct, which was previously the Carlton and United Brewery site, which closed formally in 2005. Frank Sartor, New South Wales Minister for Planning, called in the site under Part 3A of the Environmental Planning Assessment Act and deemed it a major project in June 2006. Part 3A of the Environmental Planning Assessment Act consolidates the assessment and approval regime of all major projects where the Minister was the consent or approval authority. As a result, the City of Sydney Council no longer had control over the planning control applying to the site, whether public benefits are to be included, and if so, the detailed specifications to which they will be delivered, and the ability to impose any development levy, namely under Section 61 of the Sydney of Sydney Act. There was significant hype over the redevelopment of the old Carlton United Brewery site by developers Australand in 2003. However, the winning proposal scheme fell short of the city's ambitions and attracted negative commentary, leading Australand to withdraw from the project. Fast forward to 2007 and Fraser's Property purchased the land. The owners of the brewery site had concerns with the draft LEP and DCP amendments proposed by the council, and as a result, the Minister established a non-statutory and independent EAP to review the built form and urban design parameters of the site, including the appropriateness of proposed FSR controls and heritage listings. Fraser's Property lodged a state significant site study proposing the redevelopment of the brewery site and lodged an EA for the concept plan for the site. The study seeks to establish new land use zones and development controls across the site. These controls include land use zones, height, FSR and heritage conservation to give effect to the concept plan. In 2007, Fraser's Property and the council entered into a legal deed of agreement as part of the council offering its land owners consent. In addition to establishing the delivery of the main park, the deed of agreement sought to confirm specific public benefits such as ensuring the main park was at least 5,000 square metres and in the location identified in the concept plan. The original concept plan, approved in February 2007, seek the approval of building envelopes for mixed-use developments of apartments, offices, shops, restaurants and community services, protection of heritage items, creation of open space, new street networks to minimise traffic, and a voluntary planning agreement and statement of commitments. Fraser's Property entered into 2 voluntary planning agreements. The first agreement is with the Redfern Waterloo Authority and seeks to make monetary contributions towards affordable housing within the authority's area, in accordance with Section 30 of the Redfern Waterloo Authority Act. The second agreement is with the Minister for Planning to provide for public benefits. These include infrastructure as required for public recreation, open space for passive recreation purposes, road and pedestrian works, construction and embellishment of a public park, provision of $2.5 million towards a community facility within Chippendale. A draft statement of commitments for the site was published in December 2006 outlining 22 items. Fraser's acquired the site in June 2007 with this approved plan in place. However, there were issues with the proposal and the community were not happy. Fraser's held the first community events on site in September 2007 to talk about the issues the community had with the proposal, and in August 2008 held a public exhibition and lodged a modified concept plan based on community feedback. At first there was heavy media coverage on behalf of the community because of this flawed process. In particular the residents of Chippendale, who were worried a high-density development with 1,000 people per hectare doubles Chippendale's population. Local papers such as the Inner City Voice voiced the locals' concern that issues like social infrastructure such as childcare, schools and medical facilities were being disregarded in favour of large-scale developments.
Well, was the DA process of Central Park efficient?
In response to the exhibition period, the department received 12 submissions from public agencies, including Council, RTA, 54 submissions from the public, of which 6 generally supported the proposed development. Some of the significant issues arising from submissions are characterised as follows: density, height of buildings, overshadowing, building envelopes, heritage buildings, and open space. It is evident that the DA process was not the most efficient or transparent process Central Park had gone through. By stripping local council of planning controls, the development had stripped a lot of input from local council and the community. However, this inefficiency was recognised and Part 3A of the Environmental Planning Assessment was phased out and currently does not accept any new proposal under the Act. Instead, the State Significant Development Act and Infrastructure Act replaces the old Part 3A. However, existing applications lodged before the last election and which were well advanced in the assessment process remained in the system as transitional Part 3A projects, such as Central Park. The Independent Planning Assessment Committee will still determine transitional Part 3A projects. This does not affect a community's right to comment on an application, and there is still a minimum exhibition period of 30 days for each project.
Well, what if projects like One Central, simply are approved under state significant developments? What difference will it even make if it's still controlled at a state level?
It is important that state significant developments are clearly outlined and understood by all stakeholders, including the government, developers, and the community. State significant developments are now defined as proposals, such as mines, manufacturing plants, as well as facilities such as warehousing, waste, energy, and education and hospital facilities.
Well, these projects should also have community input. After all, these proposals will be put into the community.
Although state significant projects are assessed by the department, input from local government, other New South Wales agencies and the community is sought out as part of the assessment process. In essence, we have an obligation to one another to hear each other's concerns and find solutions that will address both our concerns. Things such as Guidelines for Major Project Community Consultation was brought out in October 2007. This guideline put an emphasis on greater transparency on the process. Misconceptions are cleared up and the information is given to the community directly by the developers. Commit adequate resources to consultation. Clearly describe who has been consulted and what issues were raised. Demonstrate how the issues raised during the consultation process have been addressed in the environmental assessment and preferred project report. It is essential to get the community on board at the earliest stage possible. Ideally, the project would benefit if the community developed the brief to a project before it was designed. This way, the proposal will take on board the community and the developer's requirements into the design. Not only would this process mean that the various stakeholders of the project have contributed to the project, but it also means that the process will be much more streamlined, as there will be less opposition to the project due to the fact that issues are addressed before proposals are put forward. Learning from past developments, we can continuously work together to help streamline well-consulted proposals that benefit the community and developers. Only through education can we progress.